Welcome to the Fairly Awesome Podcast. I'm your host this week, Nate Bushing, and I'm joined by Chris Keene.
Hello.
Josh Bushing.
Yo!
And Staughton Wade.
Nice to be here again, Nate.
It is nice to be here again. I'm taking host over. You know, we don't have Ryan here, so I can actually host.
Oh, wow.
Oh! Burn.
So we have
This is the joke that doesn't end.
It won't.
Yeah.
It won't. Ever.
It goes on at Ryan's expense.
You should just keep this going.
It started when Josh was hosting it. Not knowing what it was.
I have no idea why
And
we're
Ryan
here.
took over hosting it forever just because.
Okay, that's all.
There we
Okay.
go. All right.
So we've got a myriad of topics to talk about this week.
We do? I thought we were just going to sing.
No. We're going to do this.
1 hour of singing.
We're going to do this podcast and sing song.
Followed by Josh twerking.
I hear that we have some topics.
Did the podcast just turn into friggin' Les Miserables?
I told you it was going to be sing song.
So,
That's it. That's
now,
you
all
just,
you
I was
just
gonna,
tossing it up.
no.
All right,
I thought he was
all
going to
right.
bust out I dreamed a dream or whatever the hell the
I
song
thought
is.
about it, and then I was just
never
like,
actually seen Les Mis.
the filter kicked in, and it was like, no, we should do the podcast.
Okay.
I think that's Cats. So
All right,
I
guys.
apologize. For
Is
knowing
it?
that.
No. No, it's
Judge.
Could be wrong.
No, Nate, really, go ahead.
Are you sure?
We
You
wanted to
want to go
you.
on this time? Okay.
This is why Ryan's usually in the chair.
Yes. So he has to deal with this.
Speaking of Ryan, I heard this joke like 5 minutes ago. I'm sorry.
Herding cats.
He has an air of control about him that you do not possess.
Apparently not.
Sorry.
Apparently not.
An
Yes.
air of control? Like nodules?
Error.
Oh,
Justice tangents.
it's only 2 minutes into the podcast. We'll get to something eventually.
So with the quantity of TV shows, video games, movies, etc., it seems like games and movies and TVs are becoming more throwaway experiences. Like, I would say that we're... It's not so much that they're not as good as previous experiences, but it's just more that because we have such a quantity of them and that there's so many available, you're able to move on from one to the next. You know, for instance, Damon just sold his PS3, traded it in so he could get his PS4 right away, didn't even bother to keep it. And he's the kind of guy that usually he'll play a game, take it, throw it away, and get the next one. Do you think this is more because we are inundated with products, or do you think it's more that games are less interesting? Like, what would you assume? Staughton, I'll throw it to you.
I would say actually games are more interesting. TV is more interesting. Movies maybe aren't as interesting, but that's debatable. But there is now, because we have 836 and a half cable channels. QVC only gets a half. I'm sorry, it doesn't count.
Are you serious?
It's the best half of TV I've ever watched.
We have
Weather
so
Channel.
many
Yes.
shows that
Rock and Weather Channel.
you can't absorb all the media. You can't do it. There are so many games that if you really wanted to play all the big release titles and listen to all kind of the major albums from the bands, just the ones you like, and then still go see movies and still watch TV shows and still maybe read a book every once in a while, you wouldn't have time to work. It would have to be your job.
Yep.
Just to come even close to it. And even then, you're still not going to be able to. There's still going to be stuff out there that you just can't absorb. So as a result, we rarely do things twice unless we really, truly love it. Because we want to experience as much as possible.
I was going to say, like, personally, this generation of video games, especially, I've not repeated games nearly as much as, say, previous generations. I used to play games, I'd play them through 3 times or 4 times. I'd never sell anything back. And I feel like maybe it is the quantity, the fact that there's just so many more that I don't feel like I have time to go back and repeat. Or maybe it's just, I don't want to go back and repeat now that I've gotten older. It's time is money, and I've got a lot of time to do it. So
Well, and some of that is, especially with video games, like there is, because of the price point they set, there's a bar that has to be met for gameplay time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you buy a $60 game and get, 5.5, 6 hours out of it, black site,
Duty.
you're pissed off because the game was super short and has very little replayability. So they have to make games, 30 and 40 hours long so that they eat up a lot of time. So it does kind of kill the replayability a little bit because it is such a time sink.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. It can have a 10-hour campaign if it has a major multiplayer mode.
Right.
But if it doesn't have that, then you have to have, like you said, an extended 30, 40 hours of gameplay.
Like Battlefield 3 had single player. It was not super long. There was co-op. It was not super long because the game was focused on multiplayer.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's there. It's more for people that bought the game for not multiplayer.
Yeah, it seems
three.
like packaged in,
Does that cause, because people can't go out and spend hundreds of hours with Battlefield 3 and hundreds of hours with, like, Call of Duty, does that make people, like, have to
Pick one or the other.
pick
Yeah.
one?
Absolutely.
Like, that's
Sure,
why,
I would
like,
think
that's
so,
why
yeah.
you can't really be a fan of both because you can't properly appreciate both.
I would agree. I think that happens with every multiplayer game. Like, they'll package it in, even if it's tends to be like, even if it's good and it's a more single player experience, people won't go to it because, hey, if I'm going to play multiplayer, I'll go play with my friends over here in this sandbox, and it just happens to be Call of Duty is, usually the top, or Battlefield. Or...
And some of that, I think, too, is genre similarities. Is because they are both like battle games. I mean, if you played both of them, you'd pretty much sit there and compare one to the other the entire time you were playing. So, I hate having to do this in Call of Duty. It's so much better in Battlefield because I don't have to do this. Or, why can't I do this in Battlefield? I love doing it in Call of Duty. It's, you can kind of make the same argument, why don't you have, 3 or 4 OSs in your house on all your computers? You usually have like 1 or 2 because it gets the job, it does what you want it to do, and you don't need 4 or 5 different options for the same thing.
This is a little bit how I feel about the console next gen. Kind of just there's no reason for me to have 2. I don't have to have both an Xbox One and PS4. I appreciate the fact that there are going to be some games on PlayStation 4 that I will miss, quote unquote, if you want to call it that. But so what? I don't have the time to play that much and see the movies I want to see and watch the TV shows I want to watch and, be an adult that's responsible and cares for himself and his family.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
it does.
Well, I think that's what adds up, like, over the time. Like, before, we could play Super Nintendo games over and over and over again because we didn't have any responsibilities. We, maybe do some chores or something around the house, but then summer vacation hits, you're out of school, and you just play games all day.
Yes.
All day.
See, but that's interesting, though, because really, how many TV shows were on that we were really interested in watching back in the 90s? Realistically,
4?
Star Trek?
X-Files, maybe.
X-Files,
Yeah,
okay,
that's it,
all right.
yeah.
Yep, so there you go. You had, what?
On
so,
Friday nights. That's
It
why
was a Friday night.
that's why it was successful on Fridays, because everybody could actually, that couldn't
You
go
could
out to the
stay up
bar.
late
You'd
enough
stay
to
up
watch
late and
everything.
watch it on Friday. Yeah.
So there you go. Now there's, I think I could probably name a dozen just off the top of my head that I try to keep track of
TV shows
throughout the year.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, back then, there was really only a few that were even remotely
Sparkles.
interesting.
And even beyond that, I mean, once you kind of fall off, the TV bandwagon for 6 months or a year, you're behind. And playing catch up will kill you. Because,
Yes.
I mean, if you've not seen a full season of, Dexter or Breaking Bad or, Game of Thrones, any of these,
Prepare to lose your weekend.
you've got
Binge
to watch
watch.
the whole thing.
It's true. I
catch
did.
up.
That's what I did last weekend, was watch all of Dexter and finish it up.
Yeah,
There you go.
instead of playing something that would have been a majorly epic experience that
That
all
might
your
have-
friends are doing, like
Might
Mass
have had
Effect.
a, might
It was
have had
like-
a
like
massive
3 years
effect
ago.
on your life.
could have.
Could have had a massive effect on your life. Gameplay experience.
I don't think
I
the
should just
trolling will
not
ever
play it.
stop.
And so the
It's just
trolling
running-
continues.
running joke from
Yes,
now
we
on?
can just have this running game.
We already have a running joke about Ryan being the domineering
I know,
host.
we
We
can
don't
have
need
another
that.
one.
So now we
don't
need running
the-
jokes for everybody now. So this is going to be Josh's running joke is
Okay.
guy that never plays Mass Effect, even though we keep telling him to play Mass Effect.
Right.
Even Stone Cold Steve Austin has told you to play Mass Effect.
He did.
Josh. And you have disregarded said
I-
safe advice.
Yes. When Chuck Norris tells me to do it, then
all
I
right, all
probably
right,
will.
all right.
That meme is getting made tonight. In fact, I'm going to make it right now.
Chuck
So
Norris.
here's another question: is some of it not, in fact, due to maybe the kind of overwhelming sense of ADD that everybody seems to have, like the short attention span?
That could be. I was
Like, I don't have time to watch a 45
is
or an
the
hour-long
Mass
TV show because, if it goes longer than 5 minutes, the first commercial break, I'm gone because I don't, I can't sit still and pay attention that long.
I don't know. Like, I have a problem with movies. I'll get to a point where, like, I'm in a movie,
Yeah.
like, or not like in the theater, but I'm watching a movie like Netflix. I'll pause that and go tab and do other things on the internet, and then come back to it later.
Well, your insatiable desire for porn doesn't count.
That's the real running joke.
To be fair, no. Actually, it's like they'll have like a gun or something on the screen, and I'll see it, and I'm like, oh, what is that? And just
Yeah.
I
and then
actually do that
and I
while I'm
do
watching.
that.
I'll go on my phone and I'm like half watching while I'm on it. I'm
Done
like,
it with the
who's
tablet,
that
right?
actor? I know who that actor. I'm
Yeah,
like, on
yeah,
IMDb.
yeah.
It's like, what are you doing on
A
your
little
phone?
bit, just to jump off of that, is that maybe not some of the draw of what the Xbox One was going for? Like they showed in the preview, you're watching the movie and you get like a side screen of, here's what's going on in the movie, critical scene stuff. Is that, because we've gotten used to being able to look stuff up on the fly when you see it on TV.
AMC has like story notes for Walking Dead. You can sync up with the AMC website and watch and read about the show while you're watching the show or television phone
second screen kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It is funny that you say that about movies because it's sad when I'm looking and I'm like, do I really want to commit an hour and a half? It's like, really, is that so bad that it's like
Skyfall is on Netflix. Like it just got on Netflix,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I know.
Nice.
I'm psyched because it was great. We saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
And last night, we was going to watch it, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I really. What if I want to do something else after an hour?
Yeah, that's how I get. Yeah.
So it was sad because I ended up watching like 3 hours of Battlestar Galactica. When I could, so I had plenty of time to watch Skyfall. It's just that I wasn't prepared to make that commitment.
Yeah, that's why
And that's weird. That's the funny part, but it tells the story, and then you just clickbait now. It's like click, 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 and then season's done. You're like, what did I do?
I just add everything to
What day
instant
is
queue
Yeah.
and then feel guilty about myself.
You're like, I'm going to watch
Did I
something
even
from
go
my
to
instant
work?
queue that's like
It's
15
like-
pages long, and you're
Yeah.
like, I know.
Click. I added this like 2 years ago. Holy shit. Click.
Why is that still there?
I don't know. Let me go look at the new arrivals. Oh, that might be good. Instant queue.
Instant queue.
It gets bigger.
Yeah, you spend more time in
2
the
minutes
instant
added stuff to
queue
your
than you
queue than
actually do
watching
watching
movies.
movies. It's sad. And it's a fool's errand. And maybe that's what it is. It's that we feel like that these experiences are relevant, especially when you have, our society following it, and if you're into games or whether you're a cinemaphile or the TV shows and your friends watch it and you want to avoid spoilers, so you're like, I gotta see all this. So it's a fool's errand, I guess. That's the biggest way I can describe it. So speaking of games and throwaway experiences, do you is there any games that you guys have ever played that you were having fun maybe at first and then you kind of got halfway in and you're like, God, this is becoming a slog, and I just keep playing it, and then you finish it anyway? Staughton, any?
This topic is totally just ripped off.
You're like inspired, totally ripped off.
Yeah,
George Lucas, totally ripped off.
It was inspired by thievery.
Yeah, it was. But the question was posed on Reddit.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Oh, therefore it's accepted.
It's
Plagiarism.
acceptable.
I see how it is.
Acceptable.
But they said, there were some really good examples. I want to hear if you guys had that. But my experience, and I feel bad because this is going to go against what you said about must play, but BioShock Infinite, I completely lost interest in. And I think it was that the middle portion of that game was almost entirely focused on just the combat. They weren't really interested in advancing the story.
Yeah.
And it really hurt my experience as far as trying to get through it. And I honestly had to kind of force myself to turn the Xbox back on and get through the game.
Right.
And then at first I thought, okay, I beat the game, and now that I know the ending, maybe I'm going to start this back up and I'm going to play it on 1999 mode. And I started into it, and I'm like, didn't enjoy this enough the first time through. I had to force myself through the first time. Why am I doing this again?
Mhm.
And I played first Bioshock a dozen times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's fun.
So,
Yep.
which, considering our time crunch, is how
That's
much
pretty
I liked
impressive.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bioshock Infinite is, I'm sad to say, the game that I had to force myself to get through. Because I just lost interest in it.
Yeah. I can say I've had that happen before too. And it's rare for me to come back to games, but I've actually been playing Assassin's Creed 3 because I'd never played it. And I'm like I'm not halfway through, but I'm a decent way in, and I've kind of like not played it for a month now. Like I've just kind of like let go, and it's really hard for me to even come back to it. And I know I'm probably going to finish it simply because I love the overarching story and I want to be part of that culture that's into that and everything. But it's just, I think it's the fact that I played Revelation so close to when I played 3 because I waited on it.
I can identify the problem with Assassin's Creed 3 with one word. Connor.
Yes.
He's a douchebag.
Yep.
He is a terrible main character,
Mhm.
and it's difficult because the gameplay is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's beautiful, and it actually has some cool kind of historical, really, your involvement. But the main character himself, honestly, needs to get dick punched.
He's just boring.
His dad is far more interesting
Yeah.
as a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I played through it, the first little bit as him, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then you get the not spoiler, but
No, it's over. It's over.
over.
Yes.
It's been out.
but you
Spoiler
realize
away.
he's a Templar. Like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Wait,
And
he's a
then-
Templar?
Yes.
Oh.
Ruined it, Nate.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate.
Son of a bitch.
But anyway, so then you take over Connor, and I just lost interest.
I think a lot of that really was coming off of Ezio as such an awesome character that you'd been with for 3 games.
Yes.
Connor kind of had to take that one. He kind of had to be the buffer between whoever was next, so it could be, good again.
Yeah.
'Cause it's pretty much.
Is that what it is? They just
It's-
Yeah.
he's like-
Ezio was really good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really hard to top that.
Have you found yourself liking the characters in 4? Because you're the only one that's played it, I think. Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, yes.
Is it worth it getting through 3 to get to 4? Because I think for the story.
You can skip 3 and it won't hurt you in 4.
Don't tell him that. He'll never go
Well,
back.
Yeah, I think you might have just.
Yeah, but you need
Nailed that
to
coffin.
you need to play through 3
Because
so
I need
that
the
you can-
Yeah,
story.
Yeah.
really.
Should I just Wikipedia the story? Is
Not
that what
even
needs
because
to happen?
just stick to the main line. Don't worry about any of the side missions.
Yeah.
And just tear through 3 and you'll be fine.
Okay,
Get to the end.
that's hard
and
because
then go on
I'm
to
so
4.
OCD about
Do,
it.
do you have a game? What
Yes.
kind of?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We did jump off.
Yeah,
That I stopped playing. I don't.
or maybe not stop playing, but
'Cause
that
I've
you
got
finish.
that you had to force yourself to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you stopped having fun in,
I stopped
and then
having
you
fun.
finished the game anyway.
I have
like,
I have like
Lego
3.
achievement hunting or anything like that.
Well, achievement hunting doesn't really count because that's a replay. That's
Oh, you don't actually play through a game.
no. I mean, you have to go back and play through it again. I'm just
Sometimes.
saying. We're talking like single playthrough.
First
or-
time, yeah.
First time playthrough.
Yeah, play through it again and losing interest makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you've got one, I'll keep thinking here. But
All right.
I'll have to
Oh, we've got a couple. One of them was Rage.
Oh, yeah. I
Well,
guess
the id engine.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Engine Demo.
It's so true.
with John Goodman.
Oh my
as
God.
the sniper guy.
Yes. It's just like I got to the point where you get the car and you get upgrades and you have to do like rallies and all kinds of
That was
and I
fun.
yeah, it was kind of fun and it just got repetitive.
Yeah.
Like really repetitive.
It's like
and I was like,
Borderlands, only not good.
yes. Seriously. It is, and here's the worst part is like I got to a point in the game and I was playing I think I had probably like 10 hours in or something. And then I got Skyrim.
Oh,
And
you
it-
were screwed.
I was-
You were screwed. I played
Seriously?
Rage before Skyrim because it was
Yes,
nowhere that year.
and that was funny because once I got to Skyrim, it was painful to go back to try to finish it,
Mhm.
and I did. It just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
the other one was L.A. Noire.
Oh, I never finished that. I stopped having fun and I went
To be honest with you,
and dropped
never
it.
finished it. I
Yeah.
got to a point where I finally didn't finish.
Yeah, I solved
And
the
it took me
Black Dahlia
forever.
murder. And then I was done. There was
Yeah.
like a whole nother chapter or section.
Oh yeah, and I got past that.
Well, what made you pick it up to begin with?
That
Yeah, LA Noire. Because honestly, I looked at that game and I thought, this doesn't look like it has enough to keep me interested.
It is. It's
Atmosphere.
really good. It just gets to the point. Yeah, it's all
That's
about
why I
the
picked it up.
atmosphere.
I love noir in general.
I don't know. I was working at Best Buy at the time, and I got like a discount on it, so it was easy to pick up.
I think
cheap.
you got it for me for my birthday, didn't you?
I
Or was
might
it
have.
was it Ashley?
Oh, it
who
might
got
have
it
been
for me?
Ashley.
I don't remember. I just remember getting it for my birthday, so I actually didn't
think she
buy it, but
asked.
I wanted it.
Yeah.
It's not like I
You
didn't want
basically
it.
took like the... Here's a sexist comment. You took the female method. If I don't buy this game, look at all the money I won't save.
Yes. No, actually, I was interested because I'd heard good
That's
things,
funny.
and it looked good, and I was in the mood for something similar. I had just played Alan Wake.
Alan Wade.
Yes,
Alan Wake, brother.
No,
You
I
were in
don't know why
that.
that popped up.
Well, I knew that you were the next.
Alan Wake.
No, did you discover my secret
No,
identity?
the Alan Wake. I just played through that, and I loved it, and I wanted something similar to that. And
You know what's sad? I think there is a video game character named Alan Wade. I think he's from the Fear series. The Fear series of game. I think there is a character named Alan Wade. He's a doctor or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
If only we had some magical device that could connect to all the information in the world to discover this fact.
Interconnected.
Not
network.
right now, Nate.
You
Not
guys,
right
I
now.
found it.
Discovered
That's
the
the set
internet.
party. 1.21 gigawatts in my pocket.
the only other game that would make me feel like I've beaten it, and then I didn't beat it, and then I beat it, and then I didn't beat it. It's World of Warcraft. Because I beat that game so many times.
Yeah, but that's not. Well, you know what? I can guess I could use that as an example because
Well, but no,
I played it without having fun, right? I didn't really finish it, but I was raiding and it was becoming a
That's how
job.
most MMOs end up becoming, though. Is
It did.
it's
They
a-
would
became-
actually have
it's a
fun by the
grind.
time they... Yeah.
By the time you get to, you're just like, I want to get to 60, and then you're like, I want to get to 60 so I get to raid. So you're like grinding, leveling up. And you're like, God,
You're like-
this is horrible. You get there, I'm like, everything's gonna be great when I get there. Get there, and it's even
It's the
worse.
same
it's
grind.
even
It's
worse.
even worse.
It's
Because
like,
the
it's like,
payoff
oh, I'm
is
going to fish
later.
in this pond until I get to level
Even-
60. Oh, good, there's a bigger pond for me to fish in.
When I was achievement hunting in Skyrim,
Yeah.
and as
Oh.
much as I love that game, it's beloved to me, it was not fun by the time I got near the end of that. It just wasn't.
Once you see the rabbit, what is it, the cage when you're running on the wheel and you realize what
carrot
you're
on
doing
the
and the
stick.
carrot on a stick. That's
I thought when you were talking about Skyrim and Rabbit, I was thinking the rabbit from Monty Python. Where it's like, is that the game? What am I missing?
That'd be
now?
the greatest Easter egg.
that would be
ever.
awesome.
It's
There was
like,
like a-
that's understandable when you're achievement hunting. Like, I grew to hate Mass Effect from achievement hunting. Like, the original Mass Effect. Because I seriously played it like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was really just playing the main
And their
storyline.
achievements are terrible too, because you literally have to play through the game no less than 3 times in order to get all the achievements,
Right.
Yeah.
and play through it a lot. Not just blaze through it, but you have to do a significant amount of crap.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, it's
Yikes.
kind of a long game.
Yes. You got a game?
The only one that I can really think of, and I feel bad saying it because everybody seems to like it, Half-Life 2.
Huh.
Half-Life 2 was a long-ass game.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
That's
it,
interesting.
and it really kind
Yeah,
of
it
started
does.
to drag.
That's interesting.
And then you get to the end, and it doesn't really have an ending.
No. Yeah.
It's
kinda-
like
you're like,
I had not. I admit I had not played the original Half-Life, so I didn't know this whole
oh, okay.
Gordon Freeman guy with the suit thing.
There's really not that. He's not that in depth of a character. I'm missing.
No, I know it's not. But I mean, like, to have the ending the way the ending was.
Oh, at the end. Yeah,
Yes.
I gotcha. We're trying to not
and
spoil
like
it.
you see,
I was gonna say I literally have that game sitting next to my Xbox right now
We won't.
to play.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
won't. Don't spoil
and
it.
it's
good. Play it.
No, it's not.
but no, but when I confessed that I hadn't played that yet, you all of you were like, well, you almost have to play it just so that you'll have played it. But all the things that it did that were revolutionary have now been adopted
Yes.
by the industry as a
Kinda.
whole.
It still is one of those games where you get into it and you really don't think you're playing a game. You actually think you're in a part of a movie. And I think games maybe have gotten to that point.
pardon a movie like
Call
every
of
Metal
Duty.
Gear
And
Solid
Metal Gear
game.
Solid.
Every
I was yes. Well, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
but
Call
you were
of
actually playing
Call
the
of
part
Duty
rather than watching cutscenes for 30
has ripped. No, Call of Duty has
30
ripped.
minutes, I feel like 4 hours.
Yeah, well, over
And
the span of...
then you have about 3 minutes of gameplay.
No, there's a section in the game where you're in this fan boat, in Half-Life. It's not really that big of a spoiler to tell you that. But anyway, there was this...
Spoiler alert, you're in a fan boat.
Fan boat, god damn it, it's worthless to me now, Nate.
No, but it's really cool. Like,
It
the
is
first
fun.
time you got vehicles in Half-Life to actually use...
Yes.
And there's a section where you're, like, running from this chopper.
Yeah.
And I had never played a game at that point that gave me that sort of movie-like experience. And now they do it. They try to...
You know, Call of Duty, that's all
they do,
All
where they
they
put you
do
on the,
is-
I'm driving on this, the...
And you don't have like
the
very
snow
much way to go.
sled or whatever.
But
Half-Life
I'm pretty
is
sure
very
somebody said it was either about, I think it was either Battlefield or Call of Duty about their single player, which is basically, we have no interest whatsoever in the story. We're totally interested in scripted events.
Yeah.
That's all we're concerned with.
Yeah, and it didn't feel
'cause that's what
scripted
people
though.
want.
You
That's the
felt
thing.
funneled, but you didn't feel funneled. I wasn't
didn't.
aware it felt big.
Yeah,
and that
it was big, and the level designs were perfect, so that you
Yeah.
just felt like you could go wherever, and you're looking to get away from this thing. So you kind of go to spots where you think you can get away from this thing, and it just basically follows the path.
This is interesting, is that how passionate you are about it. And I know you're passionate about Bioshock Infinite.
Yep.
But again, just the experience has been totally opposite, where
Yep.
it was
Totally
just
different,
like,
yep.
I think it's how you come into it too. If you've got stuff going on in your life and affecting your
Game time.
game time or anything,
Sure.
you're not going to want to.
This is part of the. This might have been part of the problem. This is
Yeah.
why I tried to replay it. It was because when Bioshock Infinite came out, I had like a 1 month old.
Yes.
And
That
I
makes
should,
it
I should
very-
rephrase that. I had 2 1 months.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
literally had, if I got lucky, I could play it for 45 minutes.
Yes. I had
At
the
a
problem.
time.
I had the same problem you did though too, where it was. If
You had 2 twin sons? Tell me more about your
No.
children names.
No, but I had work affecting me to the point that I could only play maybe in 45-minute chunks. Yes, bring them down. Bring down the glasses. No, affecting me to the point that I didn't feel like I was enjoying myself. Okay, are you trolling the shit out of me now? Come on.
I think he's saying that your
what'd you troll me?
experiences may
I
be
trolled me.
a little exaggerated in comparison to...
I'm just giving you a hard time. I know what you mean. What you're saying is you got so much shit going on, you can't get into a game.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
So
that's what I mean.
did. I
Yep.
felt bad. I felt like I had unfairly judged it
Yeah.
because of my difficulty playing it for a solid stretch of time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then again, when I went back, now I'm kind of with Burial at Sea coming out. Kind of want to go back and get it, but I'm just gonna wait until it gets put on Xbox.
I think Bioshock was still so much more impressive than Infinite in my mind. that it's hard
the
to top
atmosphere
that.
sucked me
Yeah.
in. It
Yeah.
never happened in Infinite.
Yeah.
It was
I would
really
agree.
good.
I'm not huge about the whole vaudeville thing either. That's not really.
I never played the second one.
That's
You
not
never
really
seen it.
my cup of
I
tea. I
heard
like
that.
the Jules
It was just
Verne.
more. It was more of the same,
Yeah. It kind of ran alongside the...
except for it lost its kind of philosophical tone. It went the opposite way. Rather than being an ultra objectivist society, it
Yep.
was ultra socialist.
Yes.
Weird.
Yeah, so you could tell what they were trying to do, and it was not a bad game at all. But at the same time, there's games that you probably should play first. Like I can think of at least 3.
3.
A trilogy,
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
maybe. Highly recommended by everybody you know.
Massively recommended.
Massively.
Could have an
They
effect on
affect
your
my
life.
They might
Yes.
have a great effect on your life if you would have massively played it.
That's
There are a couple games, to jump back, that I still am kind of playing. I played Condemned. I don't know if you've
yes.
Condemned.
I did
Yeah.
play
It was
that
a
when
pretty
it
good
first came
game.
out.
Started playing Condemned 2. Condemned 2 is very different.
Did you play that?
Condemned 2, no, but I hear there's a section with a bear. That's all I know.
I've
Enjoy
Could be
that.
the bear.
Spoiler.
apparently missed the
Could
very
be bear.
hairy bald man
Yes.
attacking me in the game.
Yes.
Oh, no, bear. Not bear.
Whoa.
My bad.
Whoa.
Wow.
Did you just get into a
No,
subculture there?
No.
Good sir?
No.
Wow.
No.
Jesus.
I would know nothing about that.
Spelling kills.
I think they're spelled the same.
Yeah, they are.
Bear.
Bear.
Berenstein Bears.
You never.
Yes.
We'll fill you in later.
Yes,
John,
all right.
About the
Anyway,
birds and the bees
so
and
tell,
the bears.
Yeah,
tell me
yeah,
about
yeah.
Condemned 2.
Condemned 2 right now is kind of my in-between game. Like, if I don't have anything super pending to play, I'm like, oh, I would really kind of like to finish playing that game.
You go beat up hobos with...
Yeah, with a
That's what Condemned is all about,
Oh.
beating up hobos.
with a
Hobo
sticker,
beater
with a
simulator.
stick of rebar. I'm like,
You don't remember that?
Wasn't that like in
2006 or something? Yeah, 2005.
Burnout
I've
Paradise.
slept since then.
Burnout Paradise is a game I keep trying to play,
gosh, it's so-
and I
why?
will play it for like 2 hours and realize why this game sucks so much, and I'll stop playing it
The
again.
only ones that are fun with that are the ones that you have to cause the explosions and damages and stuff.
Apparently,
was in
I can't
Revenge.
find them. Yeah, Burnout Revenge is awesome.
Yeah,
'Cause
Revenge
you-
was
that's
awesome.
awesome.
That was
I thought
Revenge.
Paradise too.
Paradise is like the city where like the cross streets are races and
I don't like how you have to drive to all your races.
yeah, it is
or whatever
really
that.
annoying.
Maybe that's
That's
It's
a time
one I was
sink
thinking.
that I
Boring
don't
as hell.
like.
Ugh.
So yeah, that might fall into the same in that category. Is I keep trying to play it, like I haven't finished playing it, but I keep trying,
It was like,
and then it takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours before I realize, oh, that's why I stopped playing this game.
I just have to do that constantly. before
One of
you
these
figure it
times it's going to be like, oh, that's why I stopped playing this game. Let me fix this problem. Game fixed.
Hang on, I gotta warm some up in the microwave. Yeah, that takes care of that problem real quick.
I should trade this game in, but I'm sure GameStop will be like, no. That one's all yours.
No.
He's like, I can offer you $9 to get the fuck out of my store with that game.
But he's like, but I could put that towards a Game Informer subscription if you'd like one of those. Yes. You're like, ooh.
And then they just issue why you should go back and play Burnout Paradise.
That's fantastic.
On the what not to do?
What? 25 things to do before you die. Finish Burnout Paradise. It's on my bucket list.
Hey!
That's number 2 ahead of Duke Nukem Forever.
Duke Nukem Forever.
Still haven't played that.
I
Sure
will
can be.
probably never play that.
I might pick it up. If
I
it's
played
like
through a
$1 or
good chunk
$2.
of Duke Nukem Forever, and yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
It was a terrible game.
It was forever duking.
It was.
The Duke.
It should have stayed vaporware, really.
Yeah. Yes. But anyway, I think we've talked this to death.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that like Mass Effect, there is a trend now in popular culture to basically rage about a product on the internet. Imagine
That is
that.
the weirdest segue ever.
Why would you ever rage? about
Whoa,
a
there was a
product?
segue?
Speaking of Mass Effect,
Speaking of Master Effect, I'm gonna rage.
Well, no.
I was still red in the segue.
God damn it, you guys. No. Okay, so.
you
No,
think
no.
you get better treatment than Ryan?
Yes,
Come on.
I know. You guys just troll the shit.
Ryan's so nice to everybody, especially under the tip. Oh, under the tip.
So,
Continuing on.
yes, continuing on. Thank you, Chris, for touching me under the table. That was a little dirty. No, consumers tend to rage about it. I said Mass Effect because, like in the ending, they raged about, and then they changed the ending. So there seems to be a popular trend that people like to rage, cause products to change, cause things to change on the internet. Josh, what do you think about this?
Well, did they actually change the ending because of them, or did they?
Yeah, I absolutely think they
I
did.
believe they did. Yeah,
I'm on the other side of the fence. I think that they
Clarified it.
clarified stuff or completed stuff that they were unable to complete because of a time frame. But that's irrelevant.
That might be a
to-
time crunch thing.
But I think they would not have done it had it been massively accepted as awesome. I think they would. I think they would have just let it go. That's artistic.
Everybody
no.
had been like, "Oh, I love the
Of the
green,
ending.
blue, red ending."
Yeah, I bet you they would not have put that out. They would not have put that out as free DLC. Like, why would they spend the time and money to do it if there wasn't such?
Well, obviously to appeal to
fan
them,
hate.
but this is what I'm saying. There's a difference between we have gone back and changed something, Xbox One, versus
Yes.
we've now completed the process, which is how I feel Mass Effect's ending was.
Did they go back and change it? I mean, it was never done, right? It was in this. It was Microsoft. Was bringing this to
It was
E3.
done. It was done. They were trying to say we can't throw the Switch, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Everything was done about the Xbox One software. They had to undo it.
You all right?
Oh, you're talking about Xbox.
We're talking about
Okay.
Xbox. We're
I thought
not.
you were trying to spoil
No,
Mass
no,
Effect.
No, we're
no,
not.
no, no,
We're off of Mass Effect now. We're
Yeah.
talking about Xbox
No, first
One.
of all, you don't get spoiler alerts. We're just being nice.
I know.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah,
Just
That's
like
how
we were
much
lucky with Half-Life
That is
2.
how much we want you to play it.
All right,
is that
all
we're
right,
not
all right.
Look at it
spoiling
this way, though. When you
I
play
will
it,
start.
you will have the same
tonight.
advantage Staughton does.
This is such bullshit.
Where
Didn't he say that
you
on his
see
last
these
podcast?
things.
Yes.
I'll
I'm
start it
pretty
when I get home. And then he's like, "Oh, look, Sasha Grey is still up on my computer."
There's just a permanent tab. That though.
Did you just like? Is she like? What is it?
Wait, what?
No. He
I must
was
have missed the
stone
face.
cold, froze.
Oh.
It was good radio.
Or is that like the
Radio.
is that like the
This is on the radio.
the override, like
Yeah.
the security cam override, where you just loop the video so he can do whatever he's really doing, and it just looks like he's like,
No, I was thinking it was more like he got.
and then
turned
it
to
comes
stone by
back and
Sasha
like
Gray's,
the tissue box that was on his desk is
So-
missing.
Yes.
Taken back from this crazy tangent here that we love to do.
In
Yes.
Ryan's defense, that's never happened. Okay.
Right.
Whatever. we were totally tangenting it last time podcast.
Tangential laughter. I don't know. Like the raging and getting them to change stuff. I think it's. I don't know if it's necessarily bad, but is it too prevalent? Like if somebody wants the direction to happen
Like
and then has to change it to just appease the masses because producers and executives and everybody else that's in charge of everything rather than a certain kind of thing, where that can kind of be damaging to somebody else's art.
extreme reactions have become the norm.
Mhm.
And we sort of started into this where we talked about Call of Duty versus Battlefield.
Yep.
And that you can't like both. One is evil and the other one is amazing. You know,
Right.
that's all there is to
Which
it.
is hilarious.
Right.
Yeah,
because
same
they're
with Xbox
pretty
One,
good.
PS4. Like, if you're a Sony fanboy or you're an Xbox fanboy, you have to despise the other side.
It's like
Such
it's
trolls.
it's turning up vilifying the other.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, because I don't really. Whatever.
I don't care. I'll play whatever.
I honestly don't care. And the reason I am going to buy an Xbox One is just because I have an Xbox 360 and I have a PlayStation 3 and I'm totally familiar with it and perfectly comfortable and I don't feel like I'm missing anything. That's the end of the story. Not that there's extra DDR5 as opposed to free.
Right, right.
So the extreme reaction has become this norm. You can't just dislike or not listen to or watch a show. You have to hate that show. You have to rage against that show.
Or reactions to somebody.
Yep.
Like, Miley Cyrus, we brought it up in a short. We're talking about somebody who just, does something, other people don't like it, but I don't care. And then other people that don't like it talk to other people that are maybe could be assuaged to dislike it. And then that just continues to spread.
Oh
like,
yeah, they
through
use
this
it.
giant
They use it in the
community.
CMAs. That's all they talked about in every freaking in between award. They were like Miley Cyrus, so at least we're not doing that.
I think
Blah, blah,
she's
blah, blah.
like-
I'm like, Jesus,
because
are we
of that
stopping
reaction-
talking about this?
She's probably sold so many more records
Yeah.
because of the hate
I guarantee
than
it.
she did ever before.
There might be another thing here too, is that nobody cares what your opinion is if it's a mild opinion.
That's
True.
Well, that's true.
So within the society we live in, like, I will get more reactions if I call Zelda a whore and
She's a whore.
Yeah, and all the Zelda games, the worst games on the planet, and
Yeah.
let that slutty
Yeah.
broad die in her castle or whatever. I don't even. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But I'll get more reaction if I go crazy like that,
Yep.
and more views than if I'm just like, I'm not a fan. I don't really play it because nobody cares if you're just not interested. They care if you hate it or love it.
Yep. It's passion, right?
Okay.
It's passion.
The leave Britney alone guy
Oh yeah.
wouldn't have been as famous if he was like, we should just really leave Britney alone, guys.
I would really
Instead, he was weeping and crying and trannied up. Edit that, please.
No way. No way.
Anyways,
Blonde hair.
exactly.
Long locks of blood.
But this is the perfect opportunity for Ryan to just show that guy here, play the video right here.
Yes.
Anyway, but the point being is that guy is famous, if you want to call it, because of that extreme reaction.
Yeah.
So it's bred itself.
Is it more
Yep.
like famous or if it's more like infamous? That kind of
Doesn't matter. In our
It-
society,
No.
does
But that's
not matter.
that's what I mean though. Is that they're not necessarily a proactive type situation. It's focusing on this negative.
That's true. But
Oh, I didn't say
every-
it was a good thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a bad thing that the Kardashians are famous and that
Yes.
Paris Hilton
it's
is
the celebrity
famous. It is
culture more
bad.
than anything.
Yes.
However, they still are. They've made literally millions of dollars because they are infamous, if you want to say that. But
Sure.
but they're famous for being infamous.
Yes.
Is some of this due to the glut of social networking? because, it's thrown in your face on your Facebook feed, or it's all over Twitter, or, if anything happens, all of a sudden and maybe this is kind of an offshoot of like the 24-hour news cycle that started a little bit before all this stuff started, is because you're constantly hit with, if it was like a moderate reaction to it. Sorry, I got some yicky there.
Was it better the second time around?
Apparently. A moderate reaction on the news. That was gross. Nobody's going to care. But if you have this extreme reaction to it, or you take an extreme view of it, people will watch, on the news, or you'll get a bunch of likes and comments on your Facebook page or whatever. And so, is it because before, if I didn't like something, I could, bitch to you guys, and that was about it. That was the limit of my social impact. But now with, Facebook and Twitter, when I bitch, I can bitch to, 100,000
maybe it isn't any chicer now to have these extreme opinions than it was before. Maybe that always existed. Maybe there were always people when somebody did, we talked about Damon Lindelof being bullied off of Twitter, basically.
Right. Yeah.
All those people would have felt that way before Twitter.
You would have bitched about it around
had
the water cooler.
they would have said something
Instead
to the people that they're friends with.
Well, would they though? Like would I get all fired up about it without knowing about it?
Exactly. If you and I have an opposite opinion, a controversial opposite opinion,
Yep.
we're not going to necessarily just try to rip each other apart because of the fact that we're friends. We're not going to rip each other apart because literally one of us could beat the shit out of the other.
Yeah, that's true.
So I honestly think that probably has more honestly to do with it is that you can express an opinion over Twitter or anywhere on the internet in safety.
Yeah.
So you can be
that
extremely
anonymity,
extreme.
Even not
with
even
your name in
anonymous.
Twitter,
Yeah.
people know who you are, but they're not going to come to your house and okay, that's the best part ever of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
Where they go to everybody's
Where
house.
everybody's
Like,
house.
are you
and
this
then
guy?
shit out of
Yes.
That is honestly, there needs to be like a brigade that does that.
Did you say this?
Just
Did you say
for-
this on the internet?
Just for like the trolls on the IGN message
Stop!
boards.
You're gonna give Obama ideas.
Oh man.
Great. Now they're coming for you. And to say
I'm a white veteran. If I'm not on the list, there is no list.
That's true. It is true. That's funny.
we're all like, surveillance state.
Surveillance. Yeah, they're actually
I
watching us
ruined it.
through the camera right now, gazing into my eyes.
Longing in Nate's eyes.
But do you
We're
think
all
that because
transfixed.
that social network connecting enough people together, and then it just continues to multiply because of that?
Is it kind of like the echo chamber thing, where you express something and somebody else is like, yeah, I totally agree, and
Yeah,
it's
and it just
louder and
kinda
louder and
keeps
louder and
It's,
louder.
the only thing I would say about though
The
is
riots.
that groups like the KKK don't really seem to be as prevalent as they were, several. Like there's also it's easier now the
To shun people.
the stupid church
Westboro.
church. Thank
Westboro,
you.
yep.
Yeah.
There's like 7 of them, and they're universally hated.
Yeah.
So it's actually. It exposes that kind of true anger, like real hatred. We may actually be in a position where the internet's done something good. I know that's controversial, but what it's done is it's outed real bias and hatred.
Extreme.
And now it may have substituted that for,
No, it's trolling. It's trolling.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Total troll.
exactly. It is. It's like now instead of being a massive racist, you can argue about 1080p versus upscaled 720.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool. It's cool though, because you now
just like,
with Facebook, you might have a friend that is of the race you're making fun of. So it's cool, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true.
No, that
I guess.
this doesn't work.
Yeah. People do
And
this.
I'm curious. The internet has done.
Are you friends
good
with a
things.
lot of bears? That's the question I had, Chris.
Show
You
for
were
them-
saying
show
bears
for them at
before. I
home.
thought you were talking about bears and because you said something sort of bear man or something.
No.
So I was thinking BARE.
Bear is naked.
Yes.
Yeah, as opposed to
Yes.
bear.
As
I
opposed
got
to-
it now.
Okay.
And I missed the Berenstein part. Apparently,
You missed the Bear McCreary.
Yes.
All right. We were talking about Battlestar. That's what we're talking about.
There's got to be some way out of this podcast.
I believe if
Well, since we're on the subject of
All
bears,
along
I think
the
you can drink your own
watchtower.
biscuit.
I was gonna say, I think you actually have to wake up.
You have to urinate into a
Wake up.
rattlesnake and
The
All right,
audio version of this is going to be horrendous.
It's gonna be awesome. Okay,
There will be nodules.
we're sorry, radio kids. We're sorry, radio.
What the hell is radio?
radio kids. Like Cuba Gooding Jr. radio?
Yeah, that's iPod actually. Don't you know about him? He's brought
No,
he's
iPod's
brought up to the modern era.
iPod's the remake.
Yeah,
Radio Flyer.
Okay, so
Elijah Wood.
moving on from this topic, guys, let's talk about some.
like Macaulay Culkin's little brother in that.
God damn it, Chris! Moving on from this
Oh, yeah,
topic,
yes.
Chris.
He was in Scott Pilgrim.
No, Staughton.
Yes.
He was.
No,
was.
no,
was
no.
It was kind of like
good.
emo Spider-Man.
Silence! Silence!
All right.
We're
All
being
right.
silenced.
So moving on from this topic, let's talk about something that could be controversial, or at least has been in the past. J.J. Abrams has recently come out from the closet, talking about taking Star Wars back to its roots. Episode
to the
7.
roots.
Back to the roots. So not so,
Your name's Toby.
Kunta Kinte is mad at you, Josh, for derailing this podcast for the last time.
I blame you for using roots.
You said roots, exactly.
That is really funny. They've gone racist. Episode 6
We
and
might have to
7.
cut that
It's
part.
The
over.
podcast has officially
Yeah.
turned into the Bob and Tom show. If you're just tuning in,
What the?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What you are unable to see if you're listening or if you're even watching on YouTube is Ryan playing producer standing off camera frowning at us.
He's giving the
Kermit
Bill
Grumpy
Clinton.
Cat.
He's giving the Bill Clinton shame face.
He's about to just bust in and be like, take it over.
All right. So, episode 7, Star Wars. J.J. Abrams taking things back to its roots.
If they have a character named Toby, I'm going to lose it in the theater.
Right. Tobey Maguire could be in the movie now. So, what do you guys think about this? Chris, what do you think about it?
I don't know. Part of my concern is that it is going kind of darker because all the movies are that way, which we talked about
We
before.
talked about
We
it.
did
yeah.
talk
Yes.
about that.
That it's really just following the trend, so it's not, oh, this is, new and exciting and different. It's the same way all the other movies are being made. So, I mean, is it necessarily a bad thing? No.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that it's gonna, suddenly make the movie more appealing to everyone. I mean, I don't know.
I would say Star Trek, the most recent Star Trek anyway, reminded me more of Star Wars than Star Trek. So it's like
A
it's
little bit.
gotten more gritty.
The most Into Darkness.
Into Darkness, yeah.
Into Darkness was not as good as the
previous
the
one.
first Star
The
Trek.
Wrath of
Yeah,
Darkness,
yes,
Call it,
yes.
yeah. But from my understanding, it's not grittier in the sense of it needs to be a dark film. It's grittier in the sense that episode 4 was, I would call it, a much more real representation of kind of rebellion against this massive empire.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as Lucas basically got more money for Industrial Light and Magic, and then, wrote the prequels, it became this really ridiculous, polished, green-screened, just excessively pretty, in a sense.
Yeah.
And that what he's trying to do is take it back to more of that feeling of the original, where there was some, the rebellion in the original, episode 4,
Yeah.
was much more ragtag
Yes.
Yeah.
than they were even in episode 5,
Yep.
where you actually had a mini fleet, and then episode 6, where it looked like a full blown military operation.
Yeah, like it had grown. You
It-
could tell
yeah.
the time had passed between because you could see it.
Yeah. So, but they never really explained the reasoning for that occurring. They
Mhm.
just kind of accepted that now all of a sudden there's these fish and they have awesome starships,
Yes.
and they warn you about traps.
Obvious
traps.
Yeah. So
Right.
I'm actually okay with this. We also had a discussion about Stargate doing something similar,
Mm-hmm.
where basically Stargate had gone so far. I don't want to say off the rails because SG-1 was great, and
And Atlantis
the
was
other-
actually really good
Atlantis-
too.
yeah, and
pretty
even
good.
Universe, I think,
Had its
had its moments.
Yep.
If
Given
it's
it-
straight, but
3 more seasons, I think it would have been okay.
3 more. They've given it 60 more episodes. It really would have found its.
Well, I found its footing like at the end of it, and I was kind of bummed that they just ended it.
It was almost like they knew, so they just went and it worked.
Yeah,
But-
and it worked.
So the point being is that they're going
Back
to
to
try to
Star Wars.
bring it back to the original tone of the original film.
Mhm.
And I actually think that, first of all, I have pretty much complete trust in J.J. Abrams and complete trust in Disney to do this. And I know that Captain America movie was apparently not that great. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Did he do
It's on
that?
my Netflix Instant queue.
Did J.J. Abrams do that?
No, Disney, though.
Oh, Disney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I thought Captain America was pretty good.
It was all right.
Irrelevant to the point
It was
being is
alright.
that I have
I guess I missed.
I
the
have
fact that-
what they've put together, the team that they have working on this.
Mhm.
I feel comfortable with. It's not like they put Zack Snyder in charge of it or something stupid like that.
Hmm.
That's true. What do you think, Josh?
Well, I don't know. Like if they're talking about grittier feel, how do you? I mean, if they're, it really just depends on what they take afterwards. Whether they decide that they're going to write their own story, or follow something in the expanded universe, and I guess that kind of plays into it. Whether I feel that they can take something that's already been written and then adapt it, or if they're going to just do an entirely different story. The entirely different story could be okay with some grittier aspects. Like, I mean, you didn't see bodies and stuff in 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I guess the worst part at 3 was
Or
Anakin. But episode 4, he starts out and all of a sudden Luke comes back to the farm and he sees Baru and Owen
You know
and
what?
they're
That's
burning.
a really good point. I
Yeah.
haven't really thought about that.
Yeah.
And in episode
Burning.
1, there's a massive battle between the stupid Jar Jar Binks army and the droids.
Yeah,
And basically,
but
you don't see a single dead Gungan.
any said like well, some of them are dead, but you don't see them. They were just like actively so far out of the way that you don't see what's going on.
Yeah, you know what?
And this
That's
is
really-
like supposed to be a battle here.
Yeah.
Both sides are supposed to be taking losses, obviously, because they get so close. It didn't make any sense to me. You're not seeing dead Gungans.
Even in Jedi, they killed the Ewok's
Ewoks.
mother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking Ewoks. Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, you like
Yeah,
that,
I
don't you?
have nightmares.
Yep.
Mm.
Bite the pillow. He's going in dry.
Oh my. So yeah, I guess if they take it to that level and they add some more flair and they get a good character base.
Lens flare, you will get plenty of that.
You will get lots of
I
lens
meant
flare.
flair as in like, some panache, but lens flare, I suppose. Yeah, whatever.
Panache. What panache? You know what? I would like them to remove some panache as opposed to from the first 3.
Well,
Much
like
less
I meant
panache.
like more with that characters and the fleshing out of like what they're supposed to do with their end game.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a lot different than panache, at least in my head. I got you what you're saying though. Now.
Okay.
You want them to actually develop a character. For
It would be
once.
freaking
Yeah.
nice.
Are there any developed characters in the Star Wars universe?
I was gonna say, do you really
Here's
feel
the
Luke was
problem.
that developed?
I hate to say it, but you're right. I think that
That would
there
add
is
to
no.
their-
I think Boba Fett is about as developed as any.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no
nobody-
motivation,
like,
right?
He's
There's
like
no
what,
motivation.
40 seconds on screen. Half of it is him dying in the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here. He's not on the screen very long.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
But
true.
Well, that
I mean,
seems
he's
to
like
be-
supposed to be this great bounty hunter, but he
but
does
it's
no
but
action
at the
except he
same
fires
time,
a couple
again.
rounds.
I was searching
And he
that
misses
he
Luke.
He is almost just as he misses Luke because Lando hit his jetpack. Right? No, Han.
Han swung around and
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Empire.
Boba Fett, where?
Yeah,
Empire.
and he spins around and hits him in the backpack. and flies
That's
into-
Return of the Jedi. I'm talking about
He
Empire.
wasn't. No. He intentionally missed him because remember, Luke Skywalker was meant to be frozen, taken to the Emperor.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, okay.
But I think that's something you kind of get from Star Wars is a very big focus on like side characters that were totally irrelevant when the movies showed up. Because I mean, you've got Boba Fett who has a big following. You've got is it Biggs or
It is ridiculous that I know.
Wedge? Yeah, Wedge
Wedge
Antilles
Antilles.
has his like whole.
Yeah,
It is
he's got a whole
ridiculous
series.
like
that I
single
know,
mysteries for
I
people that
know
were-
probably more like characters that are on screen for all of a minute or less.
Yeah.
And then
They're
I
huge
then
in the
I
expanded universe.
Yep.
Yeah.
well, or not even usually extended years. Just they've had this whole kind of history written for them, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just even if it's just on Wikipedia.
Well, that was
I
the
know
expanded
they're-
universe,
yeah.
though.
Well,
that
yeah,
fleshed out
that's
those
it.
characters, like the X-Wing series for Wedge Antilles, and then there was
Yep.
the Tales from Jabba's Palace, which had the whole section with Boba Fett where he's
Okay.
like dying in the Sarlacc
So,
pit and everything.
The point is that George Lucas was horrible at character development.
yes,
Terrible
absolutely.
at it. Great at world building.
Yep.
Frankly, a lot like Tolkien in that sense. Tolkien, if you read the Lord of the Rings books, they're not interesting. They're not.
No.
They create this incredible world, and then he takes just whatever and puts them in it, and they walk through it, and they have battles, and the battles are 3 sentences long or less. And it took Peter Jackson, who actually understood some of this stuff as a filmmaker, to create the fleshed out versions of all these characters and make us care about them, because he actually made the world smaller in the sense of he didn't describe where the monuments came from and the fathers
Which nobody cares
which
about, right?
is just like,
You know.
oh, I get the point, Tolkien. Nobody cares about this just excessive history and
Some people do, I guess.
But it doesn't
and
translate
their names
well
are
to video.
bushings.
No, I didn't say that.
No,
Actually,
but it is funny because you guys
Val loves it. She reads that stuff.
nobody knows who that is, Josh.
Oh, my girlfriend. So, yeah. Anyhow, she eats that stuff up. It's crazy.
But yeah, I think it would probably help to get back to. I won't necessarily say like the miniatures that they had to resort to in the original series, but something closer to that. Like you said, not so obviously CGI everything.
It would be
Yeah.
nice if we were on an ice planet if we actually went and
In the
filmed
snow.
in the snow.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
went to Iceland and filmed. Or if
Right.
we were on a desert planet, we went back to
the desert planet?
the country.
Tatooine?
No, the country where they filmed it. Why is it escaping
I was
me?
going to say somewhere in Africa, probably.
It is Tunisia. Thank you.
Tunisia, yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if we actually went to locations and filmed again and got away from the green screen.
Got away from the.
Not that we do that at all.
The unnecessarily gigantic cities that have to be 20,000 stories tall.
I
and-
think that was done on purpose, though, right? It was supposed to be very royal.
But interesting though, that actually plays right into what I just said, which is that he had zero ability to develop a character, but he could build a world.
yeah,
Therefore, when he had the money and the special effects ability, he built a world.
Like
he
crazy.
built a world.
If you
Yeah.
look at like episodes 1, 2, and 3,
They're-
and just pay no attention to anything character wise, and then look at the scapes, the planetscapes, and all of the mystical things, and little
Yeah.
scenes in Coruscant where you see all kinds of traffic and stuff moving, and it's just
it's awesome.
freaking cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, but it's
But it
ruined by
almost-
the
See,
terrible
now,
characters.
this is interesting
seals.
though, is that if you did a Star Wars TV show eventually, which hopefully it would be kind of cool to do,
It
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
isn't-
Talked about
that's
it, but-
not really going to be in there because you don't have the budget on a
No,
TV show to
fine.
create these giant
I think
worlds.
you could.
Well, they don't have the money to though, not to do it right. So
right.
what they
And it
do
would be a
is
little-
they put them in a room and then they actually have characters talking to each other. Which is something Lucas should take a hint from. Well, actually, Lucas can go fuck himself. He's gone.
Yeah,
No,
Disney should
Disney
learn
should
from.
take a hint. The Avengers was good because of the fact that the Avengers were all talking to each other.
and there was a kind of a
They butted heads.
Butted
and
heads
Yeah,
and-
I mean, even the silly side plot of Scarlett Johansson having red ink in her ledger was still more interesting than 99% of the character development in the original Star Wars.
not original. Yeah, maybe you're right.
There's
I
a
don't
reason
know.
Harrison Ford never wanted to play Han Solo again. He's just this boring character. He's one dimensional. We like him because he's a scoundrel.
The rogue.
Okay?
But he is the
But
rogue.
he is one dimensional.
Yeah.
And once he's done being roguish, like if you noticed, like his acting in Jedi, Return of the Jedi is not.
he's
like-
phoning it in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not.
He's just like, I'm here.
Well, but he's just I mean, he's just there. He has nothing
They're-
else.
all those characters are pretty much one-note characters, which is, it's a beloved film, really is. But they are all one-note characters.
yeah. Maybe because there's not enough time to develop them either.
I think R2-D2 has more dimensions than
Probably.
than several of those
And
characters.
3PO.
That's very
I mean, if
true.
you think about it, really, the original trilogy was the droids. It's pretty much from the droids' perspective, the entire
For the
trilogy.
most part.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you start out
We
with
thought it was all about
the
Anakin.
droids
but
on
it's
the
really
ship.
about R2.
Yeah.
Right. You start with the droids on
follow
the
them
ship.
the whole way.
You follow them to Tatooine. They go around, and then even in the last movie, you start at Jabba's palace where they're delivered to Jabba as servants.
No, that's very true.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason all these other characters are crap is because the only ones that really matter
Yeah,
were
they're
the
supposed
Damn
This
droids.
is a really good point.
and they had their own TV show already. It was
Yes,
the
droids.
Droids cartoon.
Yeah.
Of course, it was an Ewoks cartoon too, so that might detract.
Look,
So this played
Droids.
back into maybe with, like, say, RoboCop coming out. And hang on. I know you're like, huh? The grittiness factor. Too gritty, but they're not going for the R rating. They're going for PG-13.
Which is always a mistake.
However, like, if they flesh out the characters, do you think it'll work?
I think no, because it's still calling it RoboCop. If you were to call, I kind of agree with the some of the other people that if you called it something else entirely, it would probably be okay. But calling it RoboCop, no.
So here's the thing. What PG-13 is the rating they got for Revenge of the Sith, right?
Was it PG-13?
You know what?
I can't remember.
might be right about that. I
Yeah.
have to go back and look.
I'm pretty
but
sure
I
it's
do
PG-13
think
because
that
of that.
it was a little
That
bit
one
surprising.
scene.
And like
That one scene, as if we don't want to spoil it.
which
That one
so
scene.
PG
Well, I just
for
mean
the
the
other
volcano.
three,
It's PG-13, so it doesn't ruin your childhood.
apparently. Yeah. So what about the rest of that? Like, do you think they're going to try to go just for the PG-13 rating, or are they going to try to go PG? To bring
I would
the kiddies.
I would think they will try PG.
What was
because
the
it's-
Avengers?
13 for
Probably
sure.
13 just for
13
action.
for sure.
I don't know.
Just for action, because there was a lot of action in that movie.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't any real like ugly, horrible violence, but there was a lot of destruction and action. So I'm gonna guess 13.
Yeah, I would say 13 for sure.
But the big thing is with the next Star Wars. I mean, where do you? Yes, there's a lot of side canon that you could explore.
That's
but
the
if
thing.
you try to
I just
if you try to
don't know
avoid
where
that,
they're going to go from there.
yeah, if you try to avoid
And I
that, you're gonna have to not step
The
on toes.
Yeah.
Word around the campfire was that they were thinking of basically doing Star Wars as the Avengers, where basically you had a movie that was all these different characters. And then they
Yeah.
would go off and these characters would have their own
movies.
movies.
Yeah, I heard that too. They
You know
do like
Which
movies every
is
year.
Freaking brilliant.
Yeah,
Oh my
it-
God,
duh.
yes.
We've
Hey,
been saying this forever. It's
this
like what
is a
TV
good
should have
idea.
been.
Mm-hmm.
For
This
Star
is a good
Wars.
idea, and I think if that's the way they're going to do it, I have faith then.
So
'Cause I'm
you'll
really
have
worried
episode
about them
7
trying to
together,
get-
and then you'll have the next one will be Star Wars blah blah. Like this character goes off.
They should never do it 7. They shouldn't even call it 7 if they're
yeah.
doing new characters.
I don't necessarily think they're going to call it Episode 7. They are right now.
Right now for placeholder, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that they don't. Because if they're going with totally different cast people.
My only concern with that is that what happens is the reason Avengers works is because we all know who Iron Man was before
Right,
we watched
right,
it.
right.
And you only had a few characters, if even that you really had to introduce to people. You really didn't even have to introduce Hulk. They were all just known commodities.
Yep. At that point, Hulk
that
had
point.
2 movies already, and
Yeah, which even if it was a new actor,
Yeah.
everybody knew who the Hulk was.
yep.
So
Know
you
his
could just
past
bring
and
him in,
everything.
exactly. Yeah, and they brought Scarlett Johansson in as Black Widow. So they had done all the backstory, so they could get them together and they could have like the Bash Fest.
Yep.
So that would be my concern is that this is going to have to be more like Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, where they do spend a lot of time, like.
Introducing and fleshing out characters.
Yeah, but not really, when you think about it, Star Trek, how many characters are really introduced and fleshed out? 2 of them. Maybe 3.
Kirk.
Kirk, Spock,
Spock.
and I would say maybe Bones.
Nah, not even in the last movie. He was criminally underused.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the first one, criminally, J.J. Abrams, you're under arrest for underutilizing Carl Urban.
Yes, he's good.
I
He's like
know.
the best part of the
Dang
movie.
it.
He's the best actor.
Is he like in some sort of TV show now?
Yeah, Almost Human. It starts next week, and it's
Ooh.
worth watching just because Carl Urban.
I kind of want to see it now just because of Carl Urban.
Dread is worth watching.
Yes.
Because Carl Urban.
Yes!
is
Yes.
I
as
really,
Dread.
it's funny because I really like that movie.
Now
It
that
was
our
terrible, but
Carl
I really
Urban
liked it.
groaners are in
Dread.
full.
No, it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't that great.
Wait,
What?
what wasn't that
The
great?
original Dread?
No.
What are we
A
talking
new one?
Dread with Carl Urban.
Dread. That's
Dude,
what
it
we're
was
saying.
awesome.
It's a good
No
movie.
way. We are
It
totally
was
on opposite
good.
sides.
It wasn't just great though. Like I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I would say it was not a great movie.
Yeah,
It was
but
good.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
All right, let's not go off
Okay,
too far
all right.
onto this.
Okay.
Let's keep
No,
it
no,
back
no,
to Star
I'll
Wars.
just-
Keep it back to Star Wars. Back to Star Wars. I know you're ready to fight for this one, but
No, but the point being is that basically they didn't really spend too much time telling Scotty's backstory.
yes.
Or Zoe Saldana.
Or-
Uhura.
Whatever.
Uhura.
I don't know why I can't remember names anymore.
I don't know either. It's
I can remember the
it's all
actress,
right.
but not what she actually plays. So, but the point being is that they basically just said, we're going to accept that you're going to know that these are characters that exist, that they're on a spaceship. You don't really care. But these, like, 2 or 3 characters, so that whatever they do in Star Wars, and who knows, I don't think they know. I think they're still somewhat writing it.
I think that's why they've delayed it until
They have to do
2015
They
December.
have to,
I think is what they said.
have to pick no fewer than like 5 characters that they truly develop and make into that film, and then they're more than welcome to have the Boba Fett's on the side.
So
Right.
But don't try to tell us the story of Boba Fett on the side.
Yeah.
Yet. Go off and have them do their own thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I hope that happens.
Have their own Boba Fett movie.
that'd be good.
Bubba.
Do you think-
Fett. He's a truck driver?
So they have to go with unknowns for actors.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay, now
I don't think they do.
Here's the 50 Shades of Grey movie was going to had cast its roles.
Yep.
Okay.
And the guy that was going to play the male character was basically the lead in Sons of Anarchy.
Yep. Jax. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The guy from Pacific Rim.
He
as well.
quit.
Yep.
He quit, and he quit for a very specific reason. Because if the movie's not well accepted, it will ruin his career.
Yeah.
If I'm
Because he's a virgin, what do you call burgeoning or whatever right now. His career's just now taking off. He's in
and
movies.
if it's hated by fans, he will forever be associated with that rather than Sons of Anarchy, which is pretty loved.
It's
Right.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Critically panned.
if I'm an actor or an actress, there's no way that I am taking this role if my name is already out there.
That's true. Star Wars has killed careers.
Frankly,
Yeah.
Yes.
Hayden Christensen, dead. Let's talk about his
Yeah.
career.
Well,
Dead.
it doesn't
Mark
help that he's
Hamill,
not that
before
good of an
voice
actor.
acting, dead.
Right.
You know, it
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher kinda, she didn't really have
She
very
didn't
many,
really
you
do
know,
much.
it has killed careers. You get forever associated with being Princess Leia or, Han
Yeah.
Solo, Luke Skywalker.
From Metal Bikini to Jabba Hutt herself.
That's not nice.
Jeez.
Wow.
Have you seen the picture?
No.
I will find the picture.
No need.
It will be up on that screen.
No need. I have the picture I need of Princess Leia.
He's like,
On
that's
hand at
that.
all times.
Up here.
Up here. Up in the head.
Stored in the
Yep.
cloud.
So,
But yeah, so no, if I'm a established, like, okay, Star Trek,
yep.
really didn't, I mean, the biggest name actor really was Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
When that came out,
Yeah,
he was the
yeah.
biggest name actor as far as had now granted, not really, and I think the reason he took it was because it wasn't really in America. Like over in Britain, pretty much everybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
But they're just some little island somewhere. Britain. You're so cute. With your culture that we steal. But everybody, like Zachary Quinto really wasn't that big of a name. Chris Pine
Well,
was...
he was with Heroes.
Yeah, but that's not that big of a
There's
shit.
a
people-
one
movie.
TV
I was
show.
gonna say,
Yeah,
the people
TV
that were
And
what we
Heroes
would
got
consider
canceled.
well
I
known
know.
are people that they're kind of like not super well, they're not like superstars, but they're kind of already like running stars, like because Carl Urban was in
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. He was in Doom. He was in. He's been in a lot of movies prior to that, I think.
But
nothing
somebody
like- nothing like,
somebody
you know,
that needed
earth-shattering.
Yeah, he still needed. He basically he took that risk going up.
Yep.
You're not going to see what we would call a big name attach themselves to this.
Yeah.
Um,
So chances are pretty good what you'll probably have is what you had with Star Wars, where people that are they've had a couple roles to establish that they can act.
They have skills.
Can we not have kids? That's what that's what I said. Like
really
the,
just not. In the
I
mood
mean,
for-
just for the main roles, like that was the big problem with episode 1 is that you had Jake Lloyd as the kid and he was just awful. I mean, just bombed every scene in my opinion. He just chewed scenery.
there was
I don't know.
wasn't there a story
He
about that
was.
they wanted to put the kid from Sixth Sense in that role.
He would have been better.
I know, this is the
He
same
would have
thing.
been
Is
better.
everything you see, Haley Joel Osment, what a douchebag. He can't
No.
play that role, but
He
it's
was
just
great
you're
in
like,
The
You'd have been like,
"Ah."
I see dead people. Yeah, that's those are Jedi.
Yeah.
No, but
You'll
yeah,
see yourself
the sad
there,
thing
yeah.
is that you
in the
actually
remake.
that kid could act, as it
Yeah.
turned out, and
Yes.
you kind of regret that maybe he wasn't put in that role. Instead,
Yeah.
you got
How old is
whatever
he
you
now?
got.
Maybe there's like a
Yeah, but
cutoff.
this
Like
is
kids
back
are
in-
okay,
I
but
know,
they
I
have
know,
to be
I know.
like
under
over,
a certain age.
over or under a certain
Well,
age.
There
like
is an
Hunger
awkward
Games.
stage.
Look at if you guys watched Hunger Games, the
Yeah.
kids in
Yeah.
that, good acting. I thought that was actually
How
pretty-
old are they though?
It's pretty decent.
I'm sure the teenagers at least.
No, yeah, I know. I think they're over 18. And the reason I say that
Oh, the older
is
ones in
because
it, yeah.
filming anything with a lead minor is
Oh, no.
almost impossible.
No, they were old enough to be the leads were, but like the younger ones in it were certainly under 18.
Yeah. When they fill
The only example I have of that is the girl from. Have you seen Push?
Mm-mm.
No, that isn't going to help at all.
Honestly, I hate it when they give a Emmy or Academy Award to like an 11-year-old. I hate
They don't
that
understand
shit.
it at all.
I'm like, you morons. Like that person, their career's now over. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't remember. She was like a really annoying little kid, and then in Push, she's like, teenager-ish. I think like teen, like watchable, not bad, like actually tolerable on screen.
Huh.
So I'm like, apparently when you hit, like puberty plus a couple years,
I
you
smell short.
Stop being a shitty
Like
actor.
when do kids
When
become?
do
When do kids become?
become
tolerable
Is
to
there,
watch a
is there
movie?
such a thing as a good child actor?
If there's
Yeah, exactly.
if there's grass on the screen, or if there's grass in the
Oh,
field,
no.
Oh,
no,
no.
stop. Just, no.
No, not that.
No?
No, that's not what I was referring to. Oh my
No,
god,
but-
I better close this out before we get too far down that road.
before the cops show up.
Yeah, before the cops show up, Chris Hansen will be here hosting the podcast. All right, and on that note, be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/fairlyawesomepodcast. You can follow us on Twitter at FAPcast. I'm going to get this right eventually, you guys, I swear.
Bring in the professionals.
We'll bring in professionals to close us out next
We'll
time.
overdub it, so it'll be like
no,
Japanese
to play us
anime.
out?
To play us out, yes. No, YouTube, make sure you go check us
Follow
out.
us.
Check out our shorts, our other videos. Watch Chris do things with his hands that you don't want to watch him do. Also,
He's a sock puppet on the green screen.
Involves bears.
the podcast is available on iTunes. Make sure you download it there. If you want to listen in audio, as always, it's posted in video format as well.
One of the things that I'm going to enjoy is watching Ryan have to find pictures of bears. Put on the green screen.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
There you go.
Later.
Normalization out the goddamn window.
You know what?
You know what?
It's what I think of your normalization.
Hey, turn it
No,
up
it
for
is.
He can't hear it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got two of them. Hold on, I got the drawbridge too. Oh, you're not getting any access, are you? Yeah. Yeah. Enjoy that moat of shit.
You're really missing
Nice.
God damn it.
The tongue made it worth it. Fucking Miley Cyrus.